Good morning. Welcome to Rising. We have a simply outstanding show for you all today. Briahna Joy Gray is back. Hello, Briahna.
Hello, Robby. It's always a pleasure to be here.
What is happening on our show this lovely Tuesday morning?
Well, we will get into the backlash against WNBA star Brittany Griner's release from Russia with our Rising panel. Plus, a new round of the Twitter files is out. We'll tell you everything you need to know about that. But first, breaking news this morning, the SEC has charged disgraced FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried with defrauding investors. In court filings, the SEC alleges Bankman-Fried, quote, orchestrated a massive years-long fraud, diverting billions of dollars from the trading platform's customer funds for his own personal benefit and to help grow his crypto empire, including by using customers' funds to make investments and political donations. The news this morning comes after Bankman-Fried was arrested in the Bahamas yesterday.
The Attorney General for the Bahamas confirmed in a statement that the arrest came after U.S. officials notified the Bahamas of their intent to extradite Bankman-Fried. According to Bloomberg, in remarks prepared for a U.S. House hearing that Bankman-Fried was supposed to appear at today, he offered this: I would like to start by formally stating under the oath, I effed up. Yeah, understatement of the century. Sam Bankman-Fried, freed no longer.
Okay, so you say it's the understatement of the century, but there was something weird happening where the sheer confidence that he was exuding, the fact that he was doing all of these interviews, the fact that he kept saying that he didn't think, I think it was in the Deal Book interview at the New York Times last week, that he just really didn't think that he was going to be arrested. He saw no reason. Yeah. He was asked during that interview, you know, are you in the Bahamas and not traveling because you're afraid of what will happen if you'll travel? And he kind of shrugged it off. There was something that I felt akin to surprise, even though there should be nothing surprising about this outcome whatsoever.
Yeah, it's not surprising. And actually, there was a lot of, to be fair, conservatives expressing the idea that, oh, he's not going down. That's what he bought with his donations to the media and to Democrats, although, and we know that he also donated to Republicans. With his political connections, he's too big to fail. He'll indict the system. He's not going down. I think Elon Musk tweeted that he's going to be protected by Democrats because he gave money to them. I never thought any of that. I thought absolutely he is going down. He will go to prison probably for a very long time because the fraud looks pretty transparently obvious at this point, and also he keeps giving interviews about it. It's so easy. The investigators are just taking notes every time he opens his mouth. They just, they flip the notebook. They start recording more things he's saying. He's going to prison. I mean, he deserves due process. You don't want to talk too frankly about what's going to happen before a jury reaches a conclusion or a judge, which is absolutely how it should be. But, he missed his window to go to Venezuela.
In fact, yesterday, people were pointing out that shortly, apparently before he was arrested, he was participating in a Twitter Spaces, which for the uninitiated who don't spend all day on the internet is a kind of live kind of radio show call-in you can do and set up on Twitter, wherein people were tweeting that he basically seemed to make a significant admission about this whole thing being a Ponzi scheme, after which he was immediately pulled off. It seemed like the proverbial cord was yanked and the conversation was ended, or at least his participation in the conversation was ended. And people were saying, was this the was this the final drop in the bucket that either caused his handlers to realize he shouldn't be doing these things anymore, or ultimately instigated the choice to go ahead and cause him to be arrested? But honestly, it's hard to tell because he's given so many interviews right up to this point. He gave another one to Puck that was very open and contained a lot of disclosures and seemed to, again, not show him in any kind of contrite or defensive position in the least. And, the question is, has it all caught up to him, or is he still one step ahead somehow?
I don't think he's one step ahead whatsoever. I think he maybe thinks he is. It sounds like he thinks what he did was wrong because it didn't work. And he doesn't understand the underlying fraudulent or criminal aspect of it, which gets confusing for people only because this is crypto, and crypto is inherently a little confusing, or it's intangible. It takes like an extra logical leap to understand exactly how it works. But what he's being accused of doing is actually not all that complicated or even unique to crypto at all. He received funds for one thing, for FTX, and he used that money, he funneled that money into something else, Alameda, to make investments, to make bets, to make gambles that did not pay out. So he didn't have that money, so he couldn't return it to people through the other thing. And then he also did, which this has gotten less attention, but seems very important to me, he also paid people with a token for FTX, which is essentially shares of the company, paying employees, vendors, et cetera. But he knew that those shares were not worth anything
Right.
because the funds were not in that company. He had used them elsewhere. So that is also, seems to me, fraudulent.
Right.
We'll see what a court can prove. So that's all of those things could have been done without crypto. It's not, and it's fine for people to have less confidence in crypto, or maybe it's less regulated or whatever, but the workings of the fraud are not actually unique to, it's familiar. It's very familiar.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, the more I look at this and the more I talk to people about it, it really does feel like the crypto of it all was what was hiding from the public, what was pretty obvious at its core. There's nothing, as you say, novel, especially novel about this, which is partly why his media strategy has been so confounding to people. In this most recent Puck interview from, I think, about a week ago, the interviewer asks him, why are you talking to people like me? Both of your parents are law professors. Is this part of an incompetence defense? And this is something I think we've joked about before. Like, does he think by doing this oh shucks routine where I was just a poor innocent young boy who didn't realize what was going on, and behaving in a way that is frankly continuing to show the same recklessness that he showed in the administration of his company, setting himself up to say, I was genuinely ignorant and there's not the kind of malice aforethought that might be necessary to connect this to a fraud charge.
But it's slightly different what he's saying. He's not quite even saying that right, I was over my skis or I didn't know. He's making an argument that, like, if it had worked out, no one would have questioned it, right? If I'd ended up with this pile of money that was twice as big as what I started with, and then I could give more money to the media and more to politicians and I could donate more to effective altruism to make people all get off my back and keep writing glowing profiles about me as the white knight of this industry. It was going to work out, except I kind of got screwed and I did some things wrong. I didn't pay enough close attention to it, and then I had a rival come in and expose the whole thing.
Right.
And like, if that hadn't happened, it would have been fine, is what I'm hearing from him.
But that is what a Ponzi scheme is.
Right.
As long as there's more money coming in, the Ponzi scheme technically works. You know what I mean? So,
I'm not sure he understands, because maybe he's like low-key a psychopath or something. I'm not sure he understands the difference between him and like a normal Ponzi scheme person who probably very much understands exactly what they're doing.
It does feel, when you listen to him,
I think he has a level
like
of self-delusion.
He sincerely believes, he believes his own malarkey, to put it in the parlance of our dear President Biden.
It is incredible, though. So we'll definitely be paying more attention to this one. So he's likely to be extradited, I think, sometime in the near future back to the States.
And it's a shame to miss out on this hearing cycle. I think a lot of people were curious to see what he was going to say, and some conspiratorial minds say that maybe this is the point, that he's not making the disclosures today in front of Congress that we anticipated. But
maybe U.S. attorneys will give him an ankle bracelet and send him to Capitol Hill, and they'll be there with their notepad listening to everything he says.
Well, whatever the outcome, we'll be there to cover it. And Robby, I'm looking forward to hearing what's on your radar coming up next.